So I'm not here to, like I said, I'm not here to detract or put down or destroy whatever anyone's doing, I'm here to basically just step here and give my ideas and hopefully have you guys maybe think outside the box, We can do things in the interim, during the transitionary process of doing projects to help people in general. But I'm saying in the long term, in the long goal of sustainability, human survival, human fitness, we have to think outside the box. We have to think about different, systems engineering, So basically, for example, unemployment. People have, there's large rates of unemployment, there's large rates of poverty, people don't have money to buy things. Okay, there are some projects right now in Europe, there's certain things happening where there's a trading communities where people keep all their tools and all their material goods, certain material goods that are for general use, inside like a shed, and everybody has a key to that shed. So let's say you want to use a hammer, you want to use a camera, you want to use you want to use a bicycle.
3D printer.
Yeah, everybody has equal access to these things, So they can come in there, grab what they need, use it. When they're done with it, put it back in the shed, and somebody else can use it. Therefore, there's much less need for you to make income for those to acquire those things. Not everybody has to own one of everything. We can share things. We can have an equal access system. For example, I don't know how many of you drive, but 80% of a car's lifespan on average is spent sitting somewhere. Wouldn't it be more rational to have that time that is sitting somewhere for someone else to have access to that car? I mean, wouldn't that be, again, the purpose of an economy? Economize, right? Eliminate waste, increase efficiency. It would be much more efficient in terms of resource access for people to actually be able to use what they want. When they're done with it, bring it back. So I'm not talking about an idea where everybody owns a house and not a house, but everybody owns a car. You know what I mean? I'm talking about access abundance. Everybody has access when they need it, and when they don't want it, someone else can use it, not sit somewhere. So the idea of private property is very much inefficient because it's restricted access, Someone who has the money will buy it. Someone who doesn't have the money does not have access because they don't have the money to buy it. So, transitionary ideas, okay? I think it would be nice for everybody who has a lawn to grow vegetables, grow whatever they can, Because why should we support an unsustainable agricultural system that is destroying the planet, creating massive amounts of carbon emissions, massive amounts of food waste because we're shipping things left and right and throwing things into the ocean to keep this the market value of food high, So again, like I said, if we can grow our own food, if we can install renewable energy production into our houses, put I used to have I still have a solar panel system that I put on my roof, I used to grow vegetables, I used to have a garden, So these are transitionary ideas, but what I want to say is that the emerging future of abundance and efficiency will never be reached. The obstacle to us, again, is the current market system. You cannot expect long-term significant change to come about in the current system the way it is structured. Like I said, efficiency, sustainability, and abundance are the enemies of the market system.
We have a winner-take-all economy. Winner-take-all.
Yeah, we have a small percentage of population who taking advantage of everybody else. So let's make an example. Like New York City, right? Like most cities, this is how they're set up in a grid-like fashion. It's a grid-like fashion. We have houses over here, just in a residential district. Let's say the grocery store is over here. The hospital's here, the work is over here, the school's over here. People over here are so far from the hospital to school and work. They have to drive all the way to work, and typically around the time of 5 o'clock, is when people get out of work, the entire highway becomes flooded with cars. It's so inefficient. People wasting their lives sitting in traffic, waste of time, waste of energy, and most of all, waste of resources. Because all these cars are sitting there, they're breaking down as they're sitting down in traffic, in transit. So what a ridiculous concept to have things set up this way. Where we can actually have it set up this way, circular design. And I'm terrible at drawing, by the way, so don't laugh at me. But you create a circular design for a city. You chop it up into 8 blocks. Okay. On the outer belt is energy production, renewable energy purely. And there's no need for fossil fuels, wind energy, solar, whatever you name it. On the inner belt, one inner belt is the greenhouses, production for food, vertical farms. Food is produced, residential unit right here. So the people in the residential unit right here have access, equidistant access to food is right here. Their schools are right in a circular fashion. So everybody has access to the schools and the hospital, and the center will be the management system where they oversee the production and distribution process and recycling process. Obviously, the recycling is not even done remotely as good today as it should be. That's what a sane economy would be. A sane system, you know. You preserve, you reduce the need for energy waste. The way we produce food today is our outdated, outdoor, grid-like, again, agricultural system, where the food is produced, we irrigate water, we send water down to the food production, the water is sprinkled out, pesticides are sprinkled out because we need to continually poison our food so the insects get killed off. And the sun usually dries out all the water that we pump down on these vegetables. It dries the land over time, and the land gets destroyed, and we move to a new area and do the same exact thing. That's why we're losing tropical forest at a rate of about 16 football fields per minute right now in the world, you know, because of this outdated, retarded agricultural system. When we can actually, instead, we can do something very sane. Like, what are we doing today? Okay, this is just two different countries. This country has avocados and whatever you want. Because of the fact that the property value is lower on here, the land value is lower here than here. Let's say America is a rich country, poor country, Mexico, whatever. The property value is lower here. So instead we go and buy land over there because it's cheaper to produce food over there. Then once we make the food over here, we put it on these freight liners and ship it to America, wasting fuel, wasting and polluting the atmosphere, polluting with carbon deposits, you know, CO2. And we can actually, this is like a shoreline of a city. Let's say the shoreline of a city. There's a city over here. You have indoor vertical farms that you create a desalination process alongside the coast. Desalination cleans the water and pumps the water to automated indoor vertical farms that produce organic food. These are indoor and they're multi-level. So a very small percentage of land space can create 40, 50, 60 different types of vegetables and fruits and can be distributed to the population. Very sane, again. These are very much outside the sphere of market, because if these ideas were implemented, there would be no market. I can guarantee you that. There would be no market because there would be no need. There would be an abundance of food. Abundance is the enemy in the system today, right? If it started raining gold tomorrow, everybody has gold at their doorstep. The first second, everybody would be running out and collecting it. But after about 10 minutes of raining gold, you probably would need a broom to like sweep the gold out from your driveway because there would be so much. So abundance actually is the enemy of the profit system. I cannot stress that enough. And lastly, a market of ideas. The market of the future will be less on exchange, because, you know, I mean, I just take that from the idea that I see on the board over there. So I'm like, you know what? Since it's talking about the idea of how a market should not be about exchange, well, how about a market of ideas, where again, production, distribution are done by machines, automated, very streamlined in production, and efficient and sustainable. And people, instead of having to toil over monotonous, boring, laborsome jobs which rob us of our freedom, they'll be engaged in the idea of invention, creation, design, and really just the enjoyment of your life. So a market of ideas, ideas will be shared. The competitive market system today hoards knowledge. So all the different companies are fighting with proprietary knowledge with each other all the time. They're hoarding and competing with each other. So inherently reducing the quality of products that are produced. Let's say if every cell phone company got together and decided to create the best cell phone you can possibly create. Imagine what an amazing world that would be. If all the companies got rid of these egotism of having, you know, oh, this is mine, this is mine. Get everybody together, collaborate. So I'm talking about a collaborative design system. That's what our economy would be. A resource-based economy. An economy of preserving and managing the Earth's resources, which is not what we're doing today. And I would say that as they invent and like I said, you know, we need to have some transitionary ideas, obviously, but unfortunately, you know, the end result of having an abundant world where people are not starving, there's no conflict, and there's no crime, that unfortunately, environmental degradation, most importantly, environmental deterioration, that will not be reached in our current system, unfortunately. So I'm just here to just plant some seeds, if you will, with you guys, and see if maybe this ideas will take hold. And I really commend all of you for doing what you're doing to spread ideas and, you know, move the world forward. And as much as these things are needed, transitionary ideas, we also need to rethink about the world. You know, we need to step outside the box, if you will. Step outside the box of our traditionalized norms of labor for income and everything else, and rethink the way we see the world. All right, guys? Thank you very much. I appreciate it.